Hi, my name's Trina Wilcox. This is Run Radio's Tell Me More podcast. And today I'm excited to introduce Susie Bills. Yes, that's her real name. And she's going to tell us all about what she does. And I'll just let you take it. So tell me more about your
Awesome.
entrepreneurship journey.
Wonderful. Thank you, Trina. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. So let's see. I won't start too far back. But I was just telling Trina before we started this interview that 7 years ago, my son turned 18, graduated from high school, was going off to college. My husband and I had a construction business in the San Francisco area for many, many years. And, we were around 40-ish, and we had started thinking, gosh, we've lived in the same town for our whole lives. We've had, this family business, and frankly, we were kind of getting bored, right? And so we had that little empty nest thing start to show up, and we were like, what else can we do? Now, during that time, unfortunately, we had a really, really dear friend that passed away from cancer. Like, he found out, and then like within 3 months, he was gone. And so that was a really once something like that happens, it just changes the way you think of everything, right? Life is short. Why are we doing something that we're not passionate about, that we're not happy? Frankly, we're working, 15, 16 hours a day. That is our life. And you know what? Let's open up our mind and see what else is out there, what else we can do. So we did that. We sold our business, sold our house, did, kind of the thing where everybody thought we were crazy, got an RV, traveled around the US for a year, while we started thinking, okay, we have a little bit of a savings from the sale of our business, but what are we going to do for the second half of our life, right? How are we going to be able to sustain travel and all these things we want to do? And so I started my first dipping my toe into like online working was with network marketing, which I think a lot of people do, right? Because it's kind of like a done for you business, and you can just kind of get in and start doing. So I started doing that, and it was fun. And I started using social media to reach out to people, right? Because again, we were traveling, so I couldn't have home parties and things like that. And it was working really well. And so I started looking into, what is attraction marketing and all these different things, and learning how to use social media to grow my business, right? And so the network marketing company I was with was noticing that. So over the course of a couple of months, they asked me if I'd start doing trainings for their group, their team members in the company. So that's where I didn't go into this thinking I'm going to have a social media or a marketing company. It just kind of turned into that. And so within about a year, I had a full-time business doing social media for other people. And that's what I did for the next couple of years as we traveled around, just solo. I was a solopreneur, did it all myself, didn't have a team or anything like that. And so just a service-based business, and we were able to fund our lifestyle and exactly do what we wanted to do. So in a short amount of time. And it just opened up the whole world, right? I mean, it's a global, that's one of the wonderful things about having an online business is it opens you up to everybody. So long story short, 7 years, we're still traveling around, currently living in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. On our way in the next couple months, we're going to go check out Costa Rica, spend some time there. And my business has really grown into, yes, we still do social media and marketing for entrepreneurs. But my passion and what I love to do and talk about and teach about is how to help people start their own online business that they're passionate about. So if you get to wake up every day doing what you love, like that's a pretty awesome way to live, right? And so I help a lot of coaches, a lot of spirit-led, purpose-driven people that want to do something that they love and where they can help other people in the world. So that's what I do now, and it's awesome. And I can't even imagine going back to like working in a cubicle every day, all day.
Right.
Like I would just freak out. I wouldn't even know what to do with myself. So that's where we are now. And so I love answering questions, helping people kind of figure out what they could do to start their own online business. Most of us have this idea that like we don't have anything, or we're not an expert at something, or everybody else is already doing it, I'm too late. All of those, mindset things that come up. So again, we work a lot on mindset. Actually, when I first start working with people, that's usually what we work on, because if you can't get past the mindset blocks, you just can't get past anything really. So,
and I feel like that is one of the biggest challenges a lot of us have. We're like, well, what if? And or you've got analysis paralysis. There's like, well, I like this and this and this and this. So what would some of your tips be, without, spilling all the goods, but what are some of the ways to get someone thinking in that direction? Yeah, I can do this, and it should be that.
Right, right. So I always ask people, well, what do you love talking about that people come to you for? Like, in your group of people, are you kind of known for the person that like always gives health tips and people are always asking about that? Or, is there something that you would talk about all day and you don't get paid for it because you love it, right? So whatever that is, if maybe that's running, maybe that's cooking, maybe that's writing, just whatever, what do you love to do like in your spare time, right? And because most people have something that they love, their hobby, but they have trouble connecting the two, like how could I make money at it? So and these, again, with the worldwide, internet, and there's people out there for like any niche that you want to get into. And so narrowing that down can actually be an overwhelming piece where people analysis paralysis, right? Like there's so many things they're interested in, or it's such a big topic that they don't know how to narrow it down. And so, but the key to that is just because you start somewhere doesn't mean that's the only thing you ever need to do, right? So you just want to start somewhere. So maybe you're if you wanted to do, we'll use the health coach analogy. If you wanted to start helping people with their health, you want to pick a particular area that you can then speak about and be knowledgeable about and market towards. So maybe that's weight loss, or maybe that's detoxing, or so about niching down, right? And just because you start somewhere doesn't mean you're going to stay there, right? So just kind of keeping that in mind, it helps people go, oh, okay, I'm just working on this piece right now. Like I can do all these things I want to do, but I'm going to just start here. The other piece of that is a lot of people get stuck in thinking, well, I'm not an expert. Like, who am I? Right. The imposter syndrome or whatever we call it. And I always say, as long as you know a little bit more than the person you're helping, to them, you are an expert. So it doesn't mean you need to be, running marathons, but if you know how to run or get in shape, or you're starting your journey of running and you're doing 5Ks. Well, to somebody who's never exercised, you can help them in their transformation, right? To get to where you are. And by the time they get there, you'll be further on your journey. So a lot of people also think they need to get like certified and credentials and all the things. And really what's happening is we're doing that because we don't think we are valuable enough, or we can't, give enough information. And really when we sit and write it out and think about, well, what could you share with people? What could you help people? What transformation have you gone on and achieved in your life? It becomes very clear. Oh yeah. Oh wait, I'm pretty awesome. I have done, done this. So definitely spending that time through some good worksheets, some good questions, can bring that clarity pretty quickly. Yeah.
Now, what about burnout? If you love the thing and then you start doing it as your work, is there the risk of, oh my gosh, now I've talked about it and I don't even want to hear myself talk about it? How do you keep those?
I'm sick of myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Separate but together.
Yeah. So that's such a great question. Oh my gosh. And so I was one of those people when I did first start my social media company and I was doing it all myself, found myself just, wanting more clients, and people started referring. I didn't want to turn clients away. Right. So pretty soon you're like, wait, I traded in this 9 to 5 for now like a 6 to midnight or whatever, and burnout is super, super common. And so what we want to do, what I learned to do the second business that I created was I started really, really making sure, I call it build it backwards, meaning we start the business with automation in place where automation can be like, an example would be, you can automate your social media content. You can automate your emails. So automate it using systems where we can automate to have repetitive tasks done for us. Right. So we're not always doing these tasks. That's number one. And number two is we have super common. This was me. Well, when I can afford a virtual assistant, or when I can afford help to outsource or whatever that is, then I'll do it. But if we build it in right from the beginning, then it's just part of our business costs. It's just part of how we run our business. It's not an extra when you think you've made enough money. Because the truth is, you'll never think you're ready. You'll never think you have extra money to give an assist, right? And hire an assistant. We always, for some reason, think we should be doing it all. But if we start that in our beginning business model, and it can just be a little bit, it can be 10 hours a week. You're going to put that into your budget. Then you're starting off with help. You're starting off with somebody who could maybe do those automations for you. So again, when you are, especially if you're a coach or a service provider, there's certain things, income producing activities, we call them, right? That those are the ones that drive your business forward. It's not the on social media, commenting on people's posts, right? It's these little things that can take our time away from us. Not that they're not important, they still need to be done, but do we need to be doing them, right? When we could be on sales calls, doing podcast interviews, interacting with our audience, all these income producing properties, creating new courses, whatever that is. So we need to be very careful on where we spend our time. And so starting with those, build it backwards, right? Building it with help first. Game changer. Our second business, our second agency, we were able to grow so much more quickly and so much more automated and just amazing. And then I was able to step back and just do the things to continue to grow that or manage the team, right?
Hence reducing any chance for that burnout or overextension of yourself.
And the other piece I'll add in that is also your schedule. Again, if you set it up appropriately, like I don't schedule sales calls or interviews on Fridays. That's kind of my day where I work in the morning and then I go do stuff in the afternoon, not associated with work. So setting those boundaries up right in the beginning is super important too. But you have to stick to it, but still having that outline there.
That brings me to the next topic. Even the most routine person, when you're starting out, it can be very overwhelming to know what to prioritize, to know where to focus your energy so everything is successful, as you say, even when you build it backwards. So how do you figure all of that daunting
like the strategy, right? Like, because there's so many pieces. And so there are great courses that can help you do that. It depends on what level of interaction you want, right? So again, there are a lot of moving pieces. And so you do want to, let me back up. You can spend a lot of time Googling everything, right? You find it on Google, you can put it all together. That's for somebody that maybe just wants to dabble and maybe build things slowly or not even sure if they want to build it. But if you're somebody that is serious and you want to get it done, you need to have a strategy in place, right? And what that looks like. So you either need to find someone that you are that you connect with, right? And hire a coach, hire a business strategist, or there's amazing books out there if you're more of a do-it-yourself type of person, right? But there's certain systems and pillars, we'll call them, that need to be in place in order to have a successful business, right? And so, and I am speaking just from my point of view as online business, right? So obviously, having a website, obviously having a marketing strategy, obviously social media accounts and things like that. There's these pillars or the foundational pieces that you need to build in order to then be able to even take on clients, right? Or have client calls. And so those are very important. And it's website, right? Or landing page. It doesn't have to be, I should really emphasize this. It does not have to be about all the bells and whistles on a website. Literally, just like there's a lot of free website builders out there where you can have just a landing page and it's just about you and what you do. Perfectly great if you're just starting out with a low budget or no budget. But you do need to have something where people can go learn more about you, right? So your website, your social media accounts set up, right? That's free as well, which is great. And then some type of email marketing. So when somebody does land on your website, what do they do now to learn more about you, right? Or get in contact with you. So having an email marketing software set up, again, lots of free ones out there. Actually, most of them offer a free version up to a certain amount of people. And so those are the three that I think in order to have an online business need to be set up first or right when you're setting it up. So you can do these other things, right? You can grow your audience with social media, you can keep in contact with people through your email marketing, and they can find out more information about you because you have some type of website set up. And all of those can be done for free, which I love, right? I mean, that's great. And you can get a great book and it'll tell you how to do it.
Yeah.
Everybody's different, or you can hire me and I can build it for you. But
there you go.
Again, and anything in between, right? There's ranges in between. Yeah.
So those are great to know, especially for people that need those free resources. And for the person, what would you say to the person that's like, all right, I'm there. I know that I have these free resources, but I also know that I'm not ready to leave my 9-to-5 just yet, but I want to start moving towards what I know I need to do for my online business. How do they start building that up while keeping sane, running, the
Keeping sane.
household.
Yeah.
Yes, and keeping
Yes.
sane, all that
Yep.
stuff.
Yeah. So I'm going to say a little bit at a time, right? So,
Okay.
so the first thing, if you're somebody, and a coach is a good example, right? We'll just go continue on with that health coach analogy. If you're somebody who wants to start doing health coaching, right? Set up a social media business page where you hop on and give great, valuable information about health and wellness, right? So slowly you're starting to build, people are starting to see what you're talking about. You're starting to build an audience on social media for free in your own time, right? Maybe that's, 1 hour every evening, when you're home from work, or maybe that's, you hop in maybe a half an hour twice a week, but on the weekends you spend some time on social media, right? So whatever that time is that you can allot, I will say consistency. So if a lot of us, and I'm so guilty, I'm going to do, an hour every day on Facebook. We say all these things we're going to do. It's too much. So we end up doing nothing, right? And consistency is always going to win out over like quantity.
Okay,
Right.
yes.
So if you're like, I can, on my lunch break every day for 20 minutes, I can do a Facebook Live and interact with people. That's what I can do now and be consistent, then that's what you should do. That's where you should start. That's where you should stay until, you decide that you can give a little bit more time to it, a little bit more time.
Okay.
And so everybody gets to go at their own pace. But again, consistency, even if it's small, because over time things compound, right?
Right.
So you figure if you're, spending a half an hour every day on social media and you do that for a year, that's a lot of hours by the end of the first year, right? You would have built, if you're consistent, a nice following, a nice audience on your Facebook or your Instagram, just by being consistent for a small amount of time, but every single day. Most important thing.
You've got on your Facebook intro, happy is a habit. So how do you live by that?
Yeah. So, to me, there's some things that are very important every day. So I call the first part of it is like my morning, I call it a ritual. And so it's what I do every morning to get myself set up in the right mindset, wellness, all those things before I even open my email, open social media, do anything with work. And so for me and my husband, we get up pretty early. We get up around 5:30 and there's some coffee, and then there's meditation and exercise, and then a walk outside, right? So the first 2 hours for us is really all about aligning our energy, getting some exercise in, doing things, self-care, right? Because what I've learned over many years, because I used to not do this, I would wake up like many of us, check my phone, check my emails, check my social media. Oh no, see someone complaining, and then the day would take off and it would control me rather than me controlling it. And so the most important thing that I can say is that setting up yourself and your energy and you being in charge of what you're doing next is so important. And so now I don't check my emails until I have an allotted time. It's like at 10:30, that's when I check my emails. Well, by 10:30, I've been up for lots of hours. I've already done a lot of things. And so that's a really important habit, is to set yourself up for success at the beginning of the day. That being said, it doesn't, happy as a habit is wonderful, but it doesn't mean that, crap, excuse my language, doesn't hit the fan, right? It doesn't mean things don't show up during your day. So what do you do then, right? So, and so it's a choice to have a situation come up and decide how you feel about it and how you're going to deal with it. So let's just use an example. Let's say one of my clients, something doesn't get done, some type of miscommunication with a team member or something like that. Now, of course, I'm not happy about that. But okay, rather than being focused on what happened and upset with my team member because she didn't do, or the client's being rude, and getting stuck in that kind of story of how this is all playing out, let's be solution orientated. Okay, what happened? How can we fix it in the moment? Make sure it's not going to happen. How can I think about this situation differently as a learning experience, rather than we messed up and now, everybody's mad. Let's use it and think of it in a better way, right? So I choose to see things like that as an experience where we can grow, right? Now we know something isn't working. So that is valuable information,
Right.
right? So let's learn from it, fix it so it doesn't happen again. So being aware of the thoughts that come up during the day and how we react to them really quickly is very important, because most of the time we're not aware, we're just reacting.
Mm-hmm.
So instilling that habit of self-awareness, right? And thinking, oh, okay, wait, how can I think about this differently? You know, how kind of talking yourself through a better way of dealing with something is a habit that you need to cultivate, because it doesn't really come easy when you're in the middle of something wrong happening. Right. So, but going back to the first part, the first morning habits, setting yourself up for success. If you've done that, you're much more likely to deal with this other situation differently.
Very good. Very good.
Yes.
Tell me something that I've left out. What have I missed that people need to know about you and what you're doing for everybody else to help them have success?
You know, I can't even overstate how amazing and freeing and wonderful and exciting and happy it is to be in charge of your own everything. And by that, I mean having an online business. You know, your time is all how you want it to be. You get to work with who you want to work with, when you want to work with them, where you want to work with them from. There's just this sense of freedom. And maybe you want to work with them just from your kitchen table, which is great, right? Or maybe you want to work with them, you know, on the beach in Bali or something, right? So just that the freedom that an online business gives you just really bleeds out into every part of your world and every part of how you live your day. Like I said, on Fridays, I decided that I didn't want to work in the afternoons. So I just don't do that. And I rearranged my days differently. And because I'm in charge of my own business, I get to decide that. So one of the big pieces of having an online business and doing what you love is you take back your power to make all the decisions about how you want to show up in the world. For me, being happy is one of those, and just feeling at peace and freedom because I'm in charge of all my world. So yeah. And I think a lot of people don't really understand that or know that, because you know they just wouldn't know that if they didn't talk to somebody or start their own online business. But freedom is amazing.
And it's more like you were saying, flexibility. It doesn't mean you're not working hard, but you are putting boundaries and protecting time so you can show up when you need to. And I think sometimes, like you said, it's easy to be like, oh, I said it wasn't going to work, but I'll just do this real quick. And you just spread yourself thin and you're good for nobody.
Right, exactly, right? We're spread out all over the place, and we're not productive. We're not probably doing the best job that we can do for our clients, for our family, right? For ourselves. So yeah, boundaries, it's a biggie.
It is a biggie. It is a biggie. You're full of wonderful knowledge. Thank you for talking to me. Where can people go to glean more knowledge from you?
Yeah, I have a free Facebook group online that I love called the Savvy CEO Society. And I just set it up as a hub of free resources. And we talk about 3 areas: your brain, your body, and your biz, right? So mindset, brain, body, health and wellness, and then creating and living a lifestyle and a lifestyle business. And so I have free video trainings in there. I do free coaching Friday. There's all kinds of funness in there. And that people can learn about that at susiebills.com.
All right. Thank you so much, Susie. I appreciate your time. It's been wonderful to talk to you. Folks, you can also find out more at runradio.net.
Thanks, Trina.
Thank you.